Hey everyone, Brento here. Welcome to episode 5 of Dump City. Last episode we did sewage and water, went through a few other aspects of the world, and now we have a bit of a problem here. Right at the end of the last episode, there was an earthquake, and I don't know how bad this one's going to be. I hit pause fairly quick, and I guess we'll resume to see what's going on here. I'm hoping none of our buildings we've built so far are in trouble, but we'll see what happens next. So let's cross our fingers. Okay, let's see what happens. Oh no! Oh no! No! Well, religions sometimes, maybe we got to focus on alternative cities. Oh no, this was the key building. This is why we built here. We lost it. It just collapsed. Oh well. Wow, it's a lot of garbage though. That's a lot of garbage. Well, I guess the first thing we got to worry about here is excavating that garbage. We don't have... Oh, we're going to fill that dump up, that's for sure. That's a lot of mixed waste that comes out of it. 774 tons. It's going to take forever. We can't build these in the game either. Like you can't research technology. There's I didn't want it to be this hard. That was the worst thing that could have happened just then. At this stage of the game, there's nothing worse. We'll get a bunch of mixed waste out of it. I don't know how much it's going to cost to rebuild it. See, a building, even though you can't build these in the game, the blueprint stays, and you can eventually rebuild it with in its current location. But that's going to be a big project, and we had all these other projects that are already past due. So in the last episode, between episodes here, I built a bit of a power line that connected our sewer discharge service here. So at least that'll work. I'm not 100% sure on the smoothness of this line because of the bend. It's hard to tell if it's going uphill or if it's just because it's bent and an illusion. I guess I'll find out. It didn't complain when I was building it that I was going uphill, so I'll assume that isn't an issue. Oh man, we can't even, we don't even have the capacity in our dumps to deal with this. Like the biggest dump we have to build a dump, a big dump, and then what's the biggest one? 450 tons. Yeah, this is the one I've been. So, that's a big dump. Like at some point we need this. So in this episode, I wanted to focus on services. Maybe this will be the first part of it. So the one thing we haven't covered yet is how technical services work. So I think we'll start with that, because originally I was going to go over how shopping malls work and cool stuff, but we have an unexpected change of events here. Okay, we got to get a dump going, and I wanted to build this at some point, and this is part of the game here. So now that we know where one of our roads is sort of going, the thing with the rail line though, it cuts the world in half. So if we're going to build some processing facilities around our a railway dump. They're only going to be on one side. Now, we could do it on both sides. If we go far enough out here, we could have garbage processing in both. So this isn't going to be, well, this actually might be the founding of Dump City. You get an earthquake and the founding of Dump City in the same episode. That's crazy. But no, that's that first building we built. It needed a name, so it created this location. So this is Dump City. Now I don't know what kind of radius Dump City has. Like, this might end up being the downtown core, but if we get too far away, we might have to name something else. But it looks like this will be a key part of Dump City, as well this part of the sewage discharge. So when we build the dumps here, we have a few sizes. Like the early episode, we chose our free dump. We had a medium, small one here, but these ones cost resources and time to build. So I don't want to build any of these until we have the processing facilities. However, the big it looks like these bigger dumps. Some of these are claw machines. Like that's got like 350 tons, but I think 450 tons is the most we can get. However, this also will trigger the need for rail lines, and I'm wondering how Dump City, like what if we have more than one of these and we start buying garbage from everywhere? Now, do I chain them? And do I need to be processing from both sides at once? Right? Like, is it, like if we zoom in here, we have connectors in multiple locations on these things. I don't know how we'd ever, I guess a road could cross over to connect. And then there's multiple trains that could service it. So I imagine trains can just immediately pick up from these. There's claws on this thing, right? So that's, I guess, why it can do that. I don't think there's trash loading facilities. I think it's just aggregate, but I could be wrong. But either way, we need a dump, so we've got to build one of these. Now, where does this go? This is kind of one of the centerpieces of Dump City. We already know we're going to have some train track here, and we don't necessarily, you know what would be cool actually? If the tracks on either side of the dump were going in, it's bi-directional, so we don't have to do any real switching that way. We can just, we might need a bypass for it though, actually. So we could switch through it, but it would be a big crossover switch. That'd be kind of neat. Like, I'll do a fairly detailed episode on rails in the future, explaining how that works. There's probably some people who are watching this who are not as familiar with like how signaling works. Like if you've played a game like Satisfactory, the things you can do in this are quite a bit. Like, I don't know if you can do all the things in Satisfactory that you can do in this game, but I know in this game I can do everything. Other real games I've played, City Skylines, and Railway Empire, there was some limitations. Like there's some things that were just a little tricky, like getting trains to switch better. Like the weaving of the trains is, like in this game, it's perfect as far as I'm concerned. Okay, let's have this in a range of electricity. right there. That's getting close. That'll give us, we can do some processing in between. And then you have what's left, and you can burn it. So that's what you do. You kind of burn whatever's left. And then it becomes ash. And then ash, well, it's still mixed waste, but the type of mixed waste becomes ash, meaning it has nothing in it. In which case, the border will actually, you have to pay the border to take ash. So you gotta, for every ton, you gotta pay $7 to take away the ash. But if you just lay it out in some empty platforms like this, eventually these will be used for ash. Yeah, and they might be moved around, these free ones. I might make a few others, and it just blows away. So that's more cost effective. That's really a no-brainer. Why would you pay someone to take away your trash when you can just leave it out in a pad and it just disappears, right? Over time, it just slowly disappears. So that's part of the thinking here. So, but this is going to be a central one. This might even be a garbage delivery spot. And if we want, we could build a couple in parallel. So you could have multiple trains, delivering garbage in theory. And I don't think I'm going to keep an eye on how economical this really is. It probably isn't, but either way you need it. Otherwise you got to pay quite a bit of money to get rid of some of these garbage types. And having a good garbage system at the very minimum. But if it's making money, it will expand. I think even bring some garbage in. So yeah, this is if we look here, this is where a rail line is definitely going to go through. It's going to cross over here, go around on this side. This is the closest Soviet line, and we'll go in here. We could end up building another one there, but for now, this kind of makes the most sense. So yeah, we need this built. Our bloody cathedral. That's the worst thing that could have happened. There's nothing worse that could have happened than that. So we're going to need an extra dump. And that's not even enough. I don't want to pay. You know what? I'm going to convert some of these. These aren't being used. Yeah, we're going to have metal scrap, construction waste, mixed waste. I don't know if we're going to get much plastic waste or hazardous waste. So I'm going to convert these both to mixed waste dumps. So now we got 420 tons plus 450 when that's done. Or yeah, 870. Yeah, that's just enough. We'll fill this one up first. So, okay, so it's already destroyed. All we need is trucks to haul it. So we're going to have to go shopping. Now I'm going to build a whole new demolition office just for this. Let's build a bonus demolition office here. I guess it'll be temporary anyways. Let's put it there. And this will probably be all we need for the whole game, but that is a massive problem. But we're dealing with it, right? Dealing with what you get dealt. Sometimes you play poker, you get a deuce 7. Sometimes you get a pocket aces. That's how you play your cards will determine whether you make money or not. You can lose with those aces, I once had aces versus aces heads up. We both had pocket aces, and I lost. That happened once. Flush came up and I had the wrong suit. I was all in. I got knocked out. That's what happens sometimes. So let's talk about the technical services now. So later on, with those recently purchased waste disposal trucks I just got. Even though you don't really need that many in most demolition offices, losing your cathedral this early will be put to use. But later, I will move them to a technical office. What does a technical office do, you say? Well, this will be a new building. So this is something we haven't gone over yet. What they do is they kind of maintain your city for you. Okay, so what these do is they maintain your city. They right now it's not winter, but eventually, and I'll purchase at least one. They'll shovel snow around your city. So the key is you can put them by the border too, but they typically don't need anything from your border. So you want them where you know you're going to have the most traffic, and we definitely have a lot of traffic going in and out of the city. So logically, we'll put this here. These are the free ones, so we'll just move them around. Like later, we'll have permanent ones, but in general, we're going to have one right around here, right there. I'm also thinking of putting one on the other end of the city, because this is still a busy highway. This is all the goods from the Soviet side are coming from this way too. So you don't want to have any delays with your vodka. So I'll put it there. And again, this is a temporary one. So if you notice how this works, similar to the previous series, you select your source, just like your construction office, your demolition office, or your distribution office. You select. The first thing you do is usually select the customs house. It'd be interesting to have an option to auto select the nearest custom house, but not too much effort to do that. But then you start overloading things. Okay, so remember we had our different types of dumps before, where we had like plastic waste and we have hazardous waste. Well, these technical offices, in addition to moving, plowing the snow, they have the things that move your garbage around. Your garbage trucks go around and pick up the garbage from the city, and they put it where you tell it to go. So we had a hazardous waste dump, but we don't anymore, so it's using a customs house. We definitely have a mixed waste dump, but we don't have to send there. So we will assign, so we've got 4 of them, or we've got 3 of them right now. So we'll set one of these. Yeah, I think this is good. So that'll be free dump 2. We still can get other kinds of garbage, like construction waste. So we'll use that one, right? That one, if it's green, that means you've got the right type of dump. And in case you're wondering, if you're watching this, and you're like, why can't I select it like you do? It's because you got to choose the type. Like, this is selected as construction waste. So unless you choose the type, you can't select it from your technical services. So we're just missing some of the types we need right now, but we do have construction waste, and we do have a metal scrap as well. This one should be a metal scrap. And yeah, the other ones are for dismantling the cathedral. Don't worry, we'll put that garbage to use later, and we're building our dump expansion here. I don't. It's a bit of a disaster. Maybe a pro streamer would look at that and go, okay, let's restart. No, we're not. It's going to provide us garbage. Nothing else. That's what religion's good for, right? Sorry if you're a religious person. I didn't mean it that way. That God works in magical ways is what I'm trying to say. First, before anything else, I want to actually buy a snowplow, just because I want to have it there before I forget. Because Once winter starts, I want to buy one of the snow plows from, at least one from each custom house, so it kind of plows. I think it might plow on the way there. But if you buy them all once winter starts, they're all sort of like in a line, like plowing this, like the first one's plowing, the ones are just behind it doing nothing. So the secret is to, when you set up your technical offices, is to plow in each one right off the bat. Garbage and snow plowing are the two main things, but they're seasonal too. So the snow plows typically make sense at technical offices that are stationed near busy intersections, because you want that cleared first. But the garbage ones are a little bit more biased towards where your dumps are. So we only have one to pick from. So we're going to definitely buy the used one because it's 25% off. It's got a bit of wear and tear. They last, they're only used half the year. It's going to be parked. So we'll buy an additional one once winter starts, and it will start plowing from the custom house in theory. When vehicles can't move, your economy is hurt, right? Speed. I wish the city I live in is so foolishly planned that they only consider like the cost of things, but not like the upfront cost of things. It's like, can I save a few $1 million by not building this? But when it forces people, like if there's a train, maybe if you live in a town where there's like a train going right through the middle of it, and it goes through at the wrong time regularly, and you could have built a bridge for like maybe for other traffic too. Some cities are bad for that. The city, I'm in is just the trains that they waste time. So it's very, just think of all the things being delayed by a train. And likewise, the same applies for snowplows. If you don't have well-positioned technical offices, so we'll make this cover a large area that way. And okay, so I'm going to buy a snow. So that other one I sent to the other technical office. This one here, we're just going to, because it was only one used one, you got to buy a regular price one. So I'll buy, the one snowplow, and we'll go here. So then once winter starts, it will. So you set the range of it. And this is a big deal with technical offices too. You don't want it to be going out in the middle of nowhere, right? Like if you don't have anything in this direction, what do you care whether it plows? However, I'll show you a bit of a trick, something I discovered. There's these signs. I don't see if it's going up. Yeah, we can just barely see that. This sign here, no snow plows. So these are the case where when they're out and about going in the random routes, the only problem with them is you can't put them on mud roads. But you can tell them not to go, like on gravel roads, you can say don't go in that direction. And given this is just a little short jaunt, so I'm okay with putting one there. Okay, so that means it won't plow in this direction, because otherwise it'll plow this mud road. It'll just be like, here's your super high performance mud road. I'm plowing around it, and you're going to waste so much productivity doing that. Likewise, see, I want to block it from going up this way too. I think I might even just solve that by I'm going to remove a bit of road. I don't want it to go through there. That's how, I don't want it to be plowing this one. Once this is off, these roads, these roads are just construction roads. They're one-time deals. Once they're built, technically I can get rid of them, but I would have no fire service. And if one of them catches fire in winter and it's not plowed, okay, but it's pretty rare like random fires like that are kind of rare, let alone the fact that it would be winter. And as we get bigger, we can always, like, I can add gravel to that, at least to a certain distance, and then say, well, okay, we can plow up to this far later, right? But for now, we've got to be very, very careful with our money. So this ain't going to be gravel anytime soon. So I don't want it to be like, if you think about this amount of area and how much actual road that, like, this is a main thoroughfare here. This is, like, in winter, if this is going 60, I think in winter it's going like less than 20. It's incredibly slow traffic. So you want it to be as clean as possible. I'm not going to put any signs to say not out of San Francisco here, because I still think we're going to have to consider making this a city in the next episode, because we lost a cathedral. Like, LA's not so hot anymore. So we're going to have to, like, I don't know, this might be an interesting experiment. Like, what if we give socialism without religion versus free market capitalism with a church, right? Like, can we just slap down a factory here maybe, and maybe they'll do some work? Maybe we'll make a similar factory. I was thinking of doing a meat processing plant, like cattle. So that might make a bit of sense with San Francisco. Have some cattle yards around here. One thing about cattle is I believe that it's many to one, so your slaughterhouse can support many of the cattle yards around it. But that'll probably be in the next episode. Okay, so this one here, let's check the range. Okay, so look, it's going to do all the way out this way. We've got some problems here. This is gonna, okay, so there's gonna be so much traffic hauling our cathedral away here that I actually think that this needs to be upgraded already. But this is part of the perimeter. Is this gonna be a freeway? Maybe we make a parallel road right now, and this will be our domestic. Yeah, that's what I think we should do. We were thinking of a mall here. You know what? Let's worry about that later. So we bought our one and only snowplow. Like, the snowplow, you don't have to look at, like, it. The only thing you look here, I'll just do it quick. I'm not going to zoom in. Just look for the maximum speed and your snow plowing speed, right? The faster, the better. And you'll find that there's some that have higher plowing speed than maximum speed, and I think those are really good in the city, because once it's cleaned out, you can't really go so fast, anyways, through the traffic. So at the top speed's not such a big deal, but when it's actually plowing, it is. So. Something to keep in mind. But in terms of the waste trucks, getting your garbage out of the city is there's a strategy to it. So you have big containers and small containers. The small containers pick up from any facility that has a small container. So if we look, it's pretty much any house. See, that's a small container. It's just little units going one way. But if you click on a big facility, I don't know if we have any big ones built yet. So they can be picked up with large containers. So these will use large containers, for example. Garbage trucks, not only they pick up from the houses, and just so you know, they don't go door to door in this game. Okay. They just can't figure that out. You can assign a route to make them go door to door, but in general, these stands are they're a big element of your game. Is the type of stands you do. And there's rules to them, and there's sub rules to them. So the small ones, while they are very nice and they're compact and they work with, they let you store a big amount to make your loads more efficient. Remember, if your technical office, so there are, when houses have garbage built up, your technical office will go and pick up the garbage, but you don't want it to be going like all across the map to pick up 2% of a load and drive all the way back. You want to also control the way people put money or put garbage away. So you have these community bins here. So you have a small one here. You got two small ones, and we got two big ones, two large ones. You got pedestrian access for both, and barge access. Now, one of the things I know this is true with the large ones is if you go with a pedestrian access one, only your technical offices can be scheduled to pick up from it. But if you go with just a road connection, you can set a route by route pickup. So if you're watching this video on like, how come I can't schedule my garbage truck to pick up from one that's got a road path or only a walking path, but yet it still works from the technical office? That's why, because it's a little weird, right? How some people might go, well, obviously you can't schedule to pick up from a place that doesn't have a road path if you're sending a vehicle to it. But then, why is the technical office work with this one able to, right? Because this one doesn't have a road path yet. Trucks will go to it from your technical office. But that's something you have to keep in mind. And I imagine the small one works the same. So some of the routes that you're scheduling, and this in the first game, I royally botched this. Like, it was so foolish the way my trash was planned. It was another motivating factor behind the series, is to take this much more serious, like the technical offices. So, and I don't want to waste any garbage in the city. Like, every bit has to be picked up. And these things they have coverage areas, but they can also, if you're very densely populated, they fill up very fast. So one of the key differences between the small ones and the big ones is the small ones is always mixed waste. You can see they both only do mixed waste. So 0.72 tons of mixed waste. This does mixed waste and it does other things, but you use different kinds of vehicles. But yeah, the essential difference between a big and a small one is that the small ones are primarily going to be used for mixed waste. A single small one can pick up from 9 of these, okay? However, if you operate it from the technical service, it will do 0.72 at a time. So this is a case where I think I want to set up a route. This is the big innovation versus the last game, where I'm going to just have some mixed waste containers, and especially like in the residential areas. And also keep in mind too, because we lost our cathedral, the big way, I'm not going to buy another one. Like, this will be our only way of getting garbage pulled away right now, is because they're all being used for clearing the demolition. I'm going to set up some small ones that are road connected, right? So technical service ones, since our smallest garbage truck is 6.5 tons, this doesn't make sense. This one with the walking path. So if you're thinking of using this extensively, no, don't, right? It's not as good as this one. This one works both ways. You can schedule pickups. So we'll lay a bunch of these out, but also, while you can see the stats, I want to show you the big ones. So the big ones pre-sort things. And initially you can only store mixed waste, but later various types can be pre-sorted, and then the technical services just go to it and pick it out. I find that these other kinds of things that get sorted are they don't fill up so fast. Sometimes the biological waste fills up fast, and if you're beside a hospital, the hazardous waste one, like definitely go with a big garbage container near a hospital and have hazardous waste capacity increase. And you can choose up to, does it say here how many bins you get? It doesn't show you the number of bins, but I believe it's 16 or something like that. Leave a comment below if you know the specific number, if you know it offhand. But it has to be built first. So once you, so these ones, they pre-sort things, and then therefore you can process them quicker after. Like instead of having, like there's a metal recycling building. So instead of having to send the mixed waste through general separation to get the metal out, it's already sorted out, so it's more efficient to sort your garbage with these. Yeah, and it's just the size of it, like the total. Look at this. This one here has 2.2, so that's not terribly much. But these ones here, 52 tons, 156 tons. So the difference is we got small containers, the small mixed, small sortable, and that's what most of the stuff is. However, for big garbage containers, these ones allow for very high capacity. The range isn't great on these, right? So if I go there, something's out of range. Most go right there. So I want to set up like an actual route to pick up all the garbage right now and deliver it. And keep in mind too, the route will modify. So as we expand our network, but I want it to at least work with this. So where's our garbage route going to go? Right? Does it go? And this actually isn't part of the technical service, but if you consider this first, then you have to consider the gaps in your route. So then later on, then you build additional, large bins or sorted ones, maybe with paths, right? Because then, for the technical services. But these have to be road connected. All of these. I'm just going to do that. So it's 6.5 tons for the capacity for our starting small containers, and this can do 0.72 each. So where does our route go, right? Now, this is how your grid sort of gets invented. You don't necessarily know where things are going to go, but I think this makes it looks like it's a straight road, right? It looks straight. It doesn't have to be perfect. Like the game's not. Once you're working with the existing grid, like the existing road's already crooked, so who cares if that's straight, right? But okay, and remember this area around here. This is our outer perimeter. For domestic garbage pickup, we're going to be our dumps are here. We might get onto it to the freeway at one point, but we could also go, like this could be our first stop right here, if this is going to be a bypass, which I don't know if it will be, to be honest. It might not be. This might actually be non-connected, so I'm not going to consider that as an option initially. Oh, look at this. Okay, so in the first episode, we had this weird road, and it's now been demolished. So I can now remove the road itself and build some grid. And this is Now, part of why I did that, because now we've got to plan our garbage route. And very nice to make this very grid line. These roads are kind of crooked. Maybe make a grid right here. Just a little bit of grid, right? And this is on the grid here. Like this road here, this is not a bypass. This is a major, this is a Strode. This is the Strode converter. You know, you don't get to roads, you don't get to the streets off the roads immediately. There's a transition here. So this is our feeder. This is and a good candidate for being paved later too. Like you want it to move fast on that road, Strode, whatever you call it. But it will have intersections. Like this is, and garbage service is a factor. You can't just say it's not, right? It affects the way people move between. But again, and one of the philosophies here is you bypass, right? So I don't think this will be a connector. This might be a bypass. We might have an interchange here. We might or might not have one here. We'll definitely have one here because this is a connector to the next city. So this will definitely be an interchange in the future. So I'll say one interchange, 2, 3, maybe, but because I'm not sure yet, let's assume that it's going to access it from this way. So this is where your technical office starts. Now this is a temporary one, so I'm not going to like build a connection to it, just because it's, you know, servicing this area. We're going to put a permanent technical office later in this general area. So with that in mind, I think we'll have, yeah, and look, like this could be all apartments all down here later. This could be very densely populated. There's some big apartments too to consider. So we might do those as well. Maybe like a bunch of them will be in parallel here. But given there's a grid, right, that sort of lines up, right? Take this one here. Given that there's already a grid of the existing city, I think extending out Los Angeles roads is kind of a logical thing to do here. Okay, as close as possible. So these will run into it. So you get, yeah, we'll bend it a bit here. We'll connect it there. I don't think we'll pave it anytime soon, but I know it's directly connected to it, but in the future, actually, you know what? That's silly. Someone watching this who's a city planner is looking at me going, "You're doing that wrong. You're doing it wrong." You're right, I am doing it wrong. Because the better way to do it is to remember, not just bikes. That's how it works. We're going to merge here first. Yeah, so then there's just less, because these aren't high traffic roads. These are the streets. These are the nice walkable ones here. Does this one need to be here? Because that road out here already exists, it will be here. If I was, like, if this road out here wasn't already, like, kind of built, I wouldn't do it. But, and there are situations where you need a lot of road access. Like just like, you know, we might build a movie theater or something here. Who knows, right? Dude, I don't think we'll fit a swimming pool. I think we can fit a swimming pool here anyways. It's enough space. But next I want this to be nice and square. I want to go off here. So quite straight. You know what? going to go here. See, I don't know if we're going to have good walkable paths in the city because it's so dense and we're going to be filling up with power lines and whatnot. I think they're going to be walking on the sidewalks a lot. And eventually, like, some of these houses are going to get torn down and we're going to put like buildings with road access. So let's do that. That looks nice and straight. So grids do make sense once you get into the city. Like, the whole idea is you don't want any through traffic on these grids. Anyone using this grid, you're just walking around. You can even set speed limits in this area. I don't know if that makes them happier, but it might. And then look at that silliness. Yeah, that's ridiculous. Alright. There we go. And because they're a bus station too, this makes it so they can all kind of walk in, get to work. Like, if you look at it here, you know, now once houses get built here, or actually this is kind of this is an interesting zone because this is people going to work and you know, leaving, or they're heading home, or sorry, not heading home. They're either being picked up from their house, or they're being picked up from, or they're going to work, right? And both. Some of these bus stops is just one. It's just you're just being picked up at the house, or you're just being delivered to work. So this one has a bit of both. So it's well connected. This might get busy, but you know, the idea is to eventually have a subway, and we'll know when that time comes. Like, if this thing's getting overloaded constantly, that's going to be the indicator. And we do have to leave some area for subway stations. Like, we can't fill the whole grid up, right? And that's another reason to have some of these things. Because if you get off, you know, your subway, and then you fan out, so this would actually probably be a good future, like near the bus stop, future zone to fan out, maybe have some sort of automatic connection between them, where a certain portion go to the bus station. Then, because the subway can't go everywhere, it can only kind of go through the city, go to San Francisco, and then maybe it goes back and forth, or maybe it's a big circle around the thing. But so yeah, that's a good improvement. Okay, so now that we kind of know where our roads are, I think we kind of know how our trash plan is going to work. Okay, so I think what it's going to generally do is we're going to go like this. The ones on the edge, let's kind of ignore them. But we have to connect to this road though, not this way, right? Because we're going to be going in a very distinct pattern. So this will be the start of it. And the ones in the very corner, if I miss them, not a big deal. I'd like to get them though, ideally. Maybe we can go here. Okay, so this gets some. Does this get it? Oh yeah, that gets it too. So we'll just get the minimal. I don't think we can go much further though. No, we're missing a house over here. Here. Okay, so we're driving down the right side, turn in. So no crossing over if it's on the right. This is a great spot. This will fill up, and this is not going to be used by the technical service. That's why we're doing this one, right? This is going to be a scheduled route. Okay, so we see the range here. Well, we can't see until it's built. Damn, what was the... well, if we know this house gets it, you know, this one probably gets it too. We might end up building some sort of a big bins here anyways. I should have paid a little bit more attention to the furthest extent. I guess this is just how it works though, right? That might be a bit of a suggestion for the devs. If a garbage stand is under construction, just enable the trash range, right? Because now I can't place my next one without knowing distance. But I think it goes up to these two houses. So then But we're sticking on the right-hand side of the road. Okay, so look at that. I think it was meant to be. And I like the fact, right. I want to go further. It doesn't make a difference if I go further. If I go, okay, I want to stay on the right-hand side of the road. So it's always turning right with this scheduled route. Okay, we're gonna have very efficient garbage pickup. Yeah, those houses over there will get some other, but we're getting a lot of houses right there. So that's stop 2. And I think that it'll number them based on when you place them. Yeah, so that's number 2. So this later on, if we extend this route, but I think we might end up being like there's no little house is going to go here. So the route that goes over here later, like this might be the one and only time we do this. This might be the only route in the whole city. So it's an ASMR video. You know what? Actually, this is one of the reasons why I decided to go with 2.5 hours. Because if you just want to watch an hour show, just watch a bit at a time, and then watch it later. But sometimes it's just, and I do this, and this is why I listen to Rogan sometimes. It's just someone talking in the background, not at max volume. Just keeps, it's you go mad sometimes when you don't have any background noise. So and I try not to be too stupid with my noises. But the idea is, like Bob Ross, he's the pioneer of ASMR. It's just this. I heard one of the theories is that it reminds you of when you're in the womb. It's just you could hear mumbling, you could hear things, but you didn't understand what was going on. And that's one of the reasons ASMR works. Like a psychologist would say that, but Bob Ross was a pioneer, and so in a way I'm kind of like him here. I'm painting a city. Just put a little bit of pathways here to the bus station, and then you beat the devil out of it. All right. Okay, so because that's there, we still need. So we can still put. I think we'll put it right on the corner. And this isn't going to be an ASMR video, don't you? Close as possible. There it is. That's it. It's a bit of a crossover, but let's stop 4. We're gonna this will perfectly use up our garbage truck, and this will be so efficient. You can't say I'm a handout giving communist when I'm this efficient with my garbage. That would be improper. So let's go with the next one. Number 5. Okay, so I think we got. Do we care about these 2 houses? No, we don't. There'll be other things that can get those houses. And we're gonna go this way now. I'm gonna go around. Wouldn't that be perfect? Happy little mistake. Okay, what next? Okay, can we get a road through there? I think we should probably try to get a road through there, though. If there's a bus... That's still a big zone to build things in. Like, this might even be fully gridded. Who knows? But I think we gotta. Oh, we can almost. This is what gives the city character. Oh my god. Oh. Okay, okay. That's it. That's the spot. And then we go on the grid again. How close to the grid are we? Griddy. That should be the mascot, Griddy. Griddy. Maybe I'll... No, that's just stupid. Griddy. I used to work for a company and I would develop some video games. And one of the games had a mascot. And it was called... I won't say the name. That's probably it. But it was a cat, and it would animate. And there was a dog for another version. One of the games had a cat and a dog, and the brand had these cats and dogs that would, entice you to play the game. Come play the game, Griddy says. Okay, it's propaganda. So that's gonna. I could have put a bin there, but I think this road here, and this I might change this. I might make this closer the other way. But oh, look at this! All these houses destroyed. I should have waited till they were removed before building it, because then we'd have some space. But too late. We've started it, and we're not stopping. That's what they say to do, right? If something's not going smoothly, force it to work. This is a big deal. In the last game I played, another reason I went over the fiscal clip was I had way too many garbage trucks, and I never planned this out. That's on the wrong side of the road, but I'm not, at least I tried to get on the right side of the road. Now, I think it got well into the houses over here. Now, I think what would make sense is a left turn here. And whatever it can catch immediately. If it can't catch all these houses, so be it. Put something. Again, there'll be some industrial or something there that'll get the houses will use that instead, right? So let's see if we can get one more here. Oh, darn it. It's kind of an interesting thing. A 5-way intersection. Do you think they'll figure that out? It is Soviet Russia. You never know, right? Did you know in Moscow when they built the nukes? This is how crazy the world is. And this is how, like, these planners, this is why the Soviet Union fell. This is a big factor. So they built these nukes, these big intercontinental ballistic missiles, and then they had to move them down a road, but the road wasn't wide enough, so they had to move all the houses a certain distance back so that they could get their missiles down the road. Like, couldn't they have built it somewhere different, or at least it seems like a construction location, you have some options. At the very least, if it's a completely new factory, that can't be more expensive than moving all these houses. Probably causing structural damage and aging them faster too. Literally, it's just so stupid. It's not planned out. You have to plan every detail. You got to look into the future. And if you're an urban planner, like if you're just like, people are just telling you, we got to do this now. There's like highways too where they just add more lanes to it. And they're like in Ontario, they're like, just add more lanes. That's the solution. And I think that's where Just Bikes comes from. He's from Ontario. And he's like, thank God I don't live there anymore. These people do not know how to do urban planning. And if there's someone from Ontario listening to this right now, sorry, but you know, you're probably doing a pretty good job in general, but don't let the power. Ooh, what's this? Finally, don't let the powers that be tell you what to do. You know, that's the thing. Adding, if someone says they want an extra lane, just tell them no. That's stupid. Here's how you do it. We're going to put a slip lane, right? We're going to a pedestrian bypass or something, right? Sometimes taking out a building is the best solution. Okay. And I'm not an expert at this. Again, I've played these games enough though to know that I've seen some dumber things in reality. Remember what we can hit. So if it's this house here and this one here, those are the two. They both are covered, right? So try to generally remember that. So now we're still on the right-hand side, even though we had to go left on that side. We're on the opposite. We're on a reverse. This one's the reverse right-hand side of the road, right? That's the reverse right-hand. Okay, so yeah, and then we'll go and grab as many as in this little cluster here. What are we at now? So we at 6 or 7 now? That's at 7. Okay, that's good. And I think we're only going to do this once per city. Oops. I'm a master with the controls in this game. So, come the camera square to a roof. Okay. Okay, we want to go a bit further out. So just remember these ones here. So we've got to get these two over here. Just try to remember that. These two over here. Remember that. We've got to get those two out. Oh wait, maybe we can almost get there. Oh, we can get one anyways. Oh, we can get them both. Yeah, okay, it's very, I think, do that. As close as possible. Okay, we got those. Just make it a mental image. I can't move the cursor. And there's some on the shore that are tough cookies. Maybe we'll get them one later. It's just out of the way though. Okay, so just remember that. Okay, so these two have service. So we just need to get this one here. And if we can't get it, it's not a big deal either. So stay on the right hand side of the road. Almost done. And that's that. So we have everything up to this last little bit here. Because this is a potentially a very busy road here, we do not want to cross over at this next one. Actually, we might want to go off the beaten path just to do it, because you don't want to have trucks slowing down and turning in when people are like, this could end up like this could lead to a freeway in the future. So let's consider going a little off the path here. It's not too inefficient, right? And preferably to the right, no left turns. Yeah, definitely to the right. Yeah. So we have 9, so we can start our first garbage truck route. See if there's a used one here. Oh, there is. It's a big one. Oh, this must have just appeared recently. It's on sale. I gotta buy it. That's a good price. Yeah, those ones don't upgrade very fast. So we'll take that one. But we couldn't find any used small ones, so we will have to buy one and only. Small ones cannot pick up the big garbage, and I believe vice versa. So this is the small one. So let's buy it now. So this will significantly reduce the amount of technical office vehicles you have. Anyways, once it's built, you set the sequence, right? And then you say load, 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 and unload here. So I'll have to wait for those. These aren't high priority buildings. We'll check on it later, see when they're getting built. There's we're still working on our electricity and let's double check the electricity here. See if there's any issues. It appears to be okay. Highest priority still remains the electricity and the heat management. There's a couple more things with the technical office. Okay, and I'm actually going to do that now. So this is much simpler. It's going to set the range here a little bit further. Oh, actually, that's not bad. That covers all we really care about. Well, actually, no. This has to plow roads. Never mind. Let's get a little bit further. Yeah, we've got to plow that road. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's what we want. We need a road to Mexico plowed too, right? So be very don't ignore these details. So remember we built our water and sewer lines? Guess what? We didn't have to build them. We can actually have water and sewer delivered, or sewage delivered and water taken away, right? That's how you would use these services. Some order. You can deliver water and then you take sewage away. So we don't have a sewage treatment facility, and that's one negative. That's one reason to have built one earlier, but we can add one later, right? I don't even know if this line's going to be perfectly good for sewage expulsion, and also we can just send it to Canada. Who cares, right? You send all the sewage, so you send it there. So we can do that instead. But if we did have a sewage treatment facility, we could deliver it there, and then we wouldn't have to pay that. We have to pay them to take it. That's the problem with sewage. But water, we do have a water purification plant. But the problem is, we have to build it, right? But once it's built, that's where we can deliver water. Now, right now, there's going to be, I didn't go thorough with the water. So another thing I like to do with, just in case, I always like to do this, is, and you guessed it, go look for a used sewer and water truck. Let's go to China. Let's see what we got here. We got no deals. No deals. So I'd like to have one of these, one of each. Okay. Well, we don't have any sales, so we're gonna have to. We'll just order it. And when you order it from the technical office, they just deliver. So from this menu, it'll disappear there. So let's look at all our options. Oh, we have two. So big capacity one. I find that when these are needed, it's they don't suddenly need 9.5 cubic meters of sewage. It's not like, there's this much sewage to pick up. So given the price difference of these, and this is just a backup, right? And they're not always active. They're often very idle. I'm just going to go with the cheap one. And 60 kilometer an hour, that's fine. It's not a terribly big deal. If you I picked one of each, and if you see it's there doing nothing, that's good. You want to see it always just parked doing nothing. Then you know you've done something right. But if it's always busy, there's something else wrong with your city. And the other one is the water cistern truck. So this one goes to your water, processing plant where they add the fluoride to make you smarter. and delivers the water. And I think the same thing applies here where, hold on, I gotta check if there's a water reservoir on some of these buildings. So these consume a lot of water, but they don't have holding tanks or anything. So I don't know if a big one makes sense here either. And for the price saving, I think we're going to go with a small water one. Yeah, and another reason too is there's better ones that come later. And I don't want to be spending money on things I don't need. So this is one way to do that. Sometimes you know, in poker, like one of the best skills if you want to be above average at poker is you got to know when to fold them. You got to recognize not every hand is things didn't work out, and you got to say, oh, you know what? It's not always the best, right? You got to go with the next best, and sometimes that's the win. Like on nights I've done well at poker, I think the reason I made $100 that night is because that night I walked away from a lot of dangerous hands. I walked away. I went with that was the best move I did. It wasn't how anything else. It was just not losing. This is that philosophy. Go with the cheap one. Okay, you know what we'll do? Yeah, we'll put the water truck here. Okay, that's why. Always double check. Okay, so the snowplows arrived. There's going to be no sewage truck, but this is where our water is anyway. So this is the perfect place for it. I planned that, right? I didn't even think of that. I forgot about the water trucks, and then I realized, yeah, so we'll put the water truck here. Yeah, so that's the technical services. That's quite a thorough, I went over as much as I could, at least early on. And I think it's also good for me to do it early on too, because if, I started, you go over how we'll do a trash episode where trash management, but you need technologies unlocked. All this stuff I'm showing you here is, already unlocked stuff. So I think we have pretty much covered anything. Everything of interest. If you haven't played the game, that's, there you go. That's information about how the game, the thoroughness of the game, the realism of the Soviet Republic. This is a much more thorough game than City Skylines, if you were wondering. Again, City Skylines, it's a more thorough road builder, but the technical services, the management of, wastewater and garbage and snow plowing, that's a big element of the game, and it's a strategy. Like you want to, like we'll probably build other ones in the upper corner, but I just wanted to get sort of like the basics set up here. Yeah, we don't want to spend more than we need to, right? And kind of what I built here is kind of what I would recommend. Not so many big garbage trucks, but hey, when your church gets destroyed by an earthquake in the first second of the show, you have to change plans. So hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video.